Hello everybody and welcome to another top 5 board gaming video. This past weekend was a holiday here in the US for Independence Day, and so I took the weekend off from making a video, but it is still the beginning of July and you know what that means. It's time to talk about 5 more games that I am probably never going to play, much less ever own, but still look really cool and sound like a ton of fun. As always, please let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. Again, as you know, we are getting into convention season, so we're seeing a lot of action. We're seeing a ton of Kickstarters coming out, and it's all really exciting. But with that, we're just going to jump right on in with my number 5. At number 5, I've got Heat, Pedal to the Metal, an F1 racing game reminiscent of Downforce, Formula 51, and a few others, and essentially that's why I'm excited about it. We don't have a huge number of vehicle racing games, and on top of that, most of them are dice-based and all of this sort of thing, but like Downforce, Heat is card-based, and so you've got card hand management and a couple of other mechanics that are relatively unique in the space, so I'm interested to see where it goes. I'm curious to see how it handles this type of thing, but overall, I'm not a huge racing fan, which is why it's so low on the list. Regardless though, Heat, Pedal to the Metal is my number 5. At number 4, I've got Batoku, and honestly, I was pained to put this game so low because it is an incredible combination of different mechanics, complexity, and theme. And the fact is that the other games on the list are just ones that I'm more excited about personally. Essentially, this is a game where you play as a Batoku, which is a Japanese forest spirit, and you'll see similar things like Kodama and stuff like that we've seen in other games, where the idea is that you are trying to become the new major spirit within the forest by attracting different patrons to your temple and all of this sort of thing. There's a lot of card playing, there's a lot of action choices that you have. It's a very intense Euro style game, very Euro centric mechanics and all of that sort of thing kind of melding together and coming together. You have a lot of different strategies layering on top of one another, and it sounds like a truly incredible game. But again, for me personally, I'm just more excited about the other ones above it, which is why it had to land at number 4. At number 3, I've got Tribes of the Wind, which is a game that has a very familiar theme of post-apocalyptic, everything is destroyed by pollution. Essentially, the idea is that you are playing as a group of people who are trying to reinvigorate the earth by getting rid of pollution, building new villages and temples and all of this sort of thing. The big cool mechanic that this has though is the way that the cards work is that you can play a card, but you can also play cards based off of what your opponent has already played, because the backs of the cards are different from the fronts, and so you can literally play off the back of an opponent's card even if there was something that they really needed to do in order to put themselves in a better position. You can then take advantage of it, so it adds a very unique level of strategy that I personally have not seen, which is why I'm really excited to see it and hopefully potentially try it out. Tribes of the Wind is my number 3. At number 2, I've got Oathborn, Into the Deepwood. This is another one of these adventuring, story-driven type games that we see like Descent, Mice and Mystics, and all of this kind of thing, but with a good bit of a twist. This has a much more narrative storytelling style, more similar to things like Time Stories. You can play it solo, as you can with many of the other games, but you also have a sort of push your luck mechanic that you see in things like D&D with like Great Weapon Master and that sort of thing, if you all are familiar. And as far as the theme goes, it's a fairly standard fantasy idea theme, but you guys know I am a sucker for these types of games. I absolutely love RPGs and getting scenarios and narrative storytelling and all of that kind of stuff. So I'm probably never going to play it, but I'm really excited for it. Oathsworn is my number 2. At number 1, I've got Cosmic Odyssey. And if you were to ask me, what game, Danny, would never ever need any sort of a legacy or scenario-driven game, I would say Cosmic Encounter, of course. But now it's coming, it's going to be here, and I want it! I am so biased on this. Cosmic Encounter is obviously my favorite game. I have mentioned it many, many times, and so Cosmic Odyssey just seems like an interesting idea. I have a bad feeling about it because it doesn't feel like the right type of theme for Cosmic, but I just love the base game so much that I can't help but be super excited to see how it's implemented, how powers and the overall universe and systems change over time, over the course of the different plays. I'm honestly more curious than anything else about it. And like I said, I know that is pretty terrible as far as reasoning, but at least I admit that I am horribly biased. So maybe I get a couple of brownie points for it. Either way, Cosmic Odyssey, the legacy/scenario version of Cosmic Encounter, is my number one. Well, everybody, that's going to be it for me. Once again, I hope that you enjoyed this video on my top 5 games that are upcoming, being reprinted, or whatever it happens to be for July of 2022. As always, it's extremely biased, and particularly my number one, but I don't care because I'm still excited for it. And that said, again, as always, let me know what you all think in the comments below. What are the ones that you're excited about? Because we have seen some very exciting stuff coming out of Spiel as well as Origin, and of course Gen Con coming up. I'm really looking forward to seeing all of these great games getting released, even though I'm probably not going to be able to play them. So I don't really care though, because it's going to be awesome. Leave it all in the comments below. That said, as always as well, if you haven't done so already, please take a look at my various social media pages where you can interact with myself and my channel in a bunch of fun ways. And with that, stay safe, be well. Thank you so much for watching. Once again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you next time.